Do you ever feel like you're being watched? That tingle on the back of your neck, the urge to look over your shoulder. I know you have. You're feeling it right now, aren't you? What if I were to tell you that there is a good reason for that feeling, and that you should trust your instincts? They watch. They are always lurking, somewhere in the field of existence that we cannot seem to comprehend, and they are always trying to reach us, to reach me, to reach you. I first notice it on an average day, and in an average setting, with nothing seeming out of the ordinary. I stood in my bathroom before my mirror, looking upon my own reflection. As I hunched forward to wash my hands, flicking my eyes away from the mirror, I felt it. A gnawing sensation that I was being watched. I was looking down at my hands, and yet, at the edge of my vision, I felt that my reflection had not mirrored my movement. Instead, I sensed that it was glaring at me, even as I looked away. Of course, when I glanced up, all I saw was myself staring back. The moment passed, and I thought nothing of it, as anyone would. Then, later that same day, as I sat reading on my couch, I felt it again. That tingle of worry, an urge to look over my shoulder. It was as if I knew the exact location behind me where it was watching me. I looked over my shoulder. Nothing, as expected. Two silly moments in the same day. Perhaps. Our minds do love to play tricks on us, don't they? And yet, as I sat on the edge of my bed later that same night, I felt it again. It was watching me from the doorway of my bedroom, just outside my field of view. That time I didn't look over my shoulder. I stayed with the sensation. As I recall this experience, you feel it too, don't you? You're feeling it right now. They are watching you. Please, do look over your shoulder. For your own sake. A quick glance, and then back to my story. As I was saying, I stayed with the sensation, sitting still on the edge of my bed. As you'd expect, nothing terribly unsettling came to pass. All I experienced was a subtle increase in tension. The feeling grew stronger. The worry mounted, but nothing else happened. After a minute, I went about preparing for bed, once again dismissing the feeling. I spared a glance at the place where I had sensed its gaze as I milled about, and naturally, I saw nothing. Over the weeks to come, I grew weary of looking over my shoulder and glancing at mirrors and windows, checking to make sure I wasn't being watched with each spontaneous urge. Even if it was only once or twice a day that it would happen, it made me feel foolish nonetheless. So I stopped. More and more I'd let the feeling fester, refusing to look, certain that nothing would come of it. It was through this negligence that they began to draw nearer to me. The sensations grew more intense, and I would feel, at times, that more than one of them were watching. In fact, what was initially a feeling of being watched had begun to evolve into something much more frightening. They were drawing nearer. They wanted me. I could feel their desire. As I speak of this, you too may be experiencing these foreboding feelings in a more raw manner. I believe the reason for this is that when one becomes more aware of them, it gives them greater agency in their hunt. If my theory is correct, then I must apologize for endangering you. Fortunately, however, I also know just how to keep you safe, to keep them distant. But before I proceed, please, do look over your shoulder. Spare a glance at any mirrors or windows or otherwise suspect places in your surroundings. For your own good. I know it may feel silly, but it is necessary. Now then, this is the difficult truth I have ascertained. They are always probing, always searching, and when we feel their gaze, it is no trick of the mind. No, it is their gaze in truth. They watch us, and as they look on, they begin to reach for us. Their gaze intensifies. As the hairs upon our skin stand on end, they draw ever nearer. Yet, when we turn to look at them, we see only the mundane. Our own reflection looks back, uncompromised. A corner that felt suspicious suddenly appears to be empty and devoid of danger. The worry subsides. Distance has once again been achieved. We have severed the connection. Indeed, it is in trusting our instincts that we fend them off. By checking that things are ordinary do we keep things as they ought to be. So, when you feel that you are being watched, Please indulge in your urge to look over your shoulder, for monsters and demons only exist if we allow them to. Another fantastic little story by MoeWanders. This is They Watch. It's it's almost like a little guide, right? About that strange feeling that you always get, especially late at night or just pretty much in any kind of dark environment where you feel like somebody's watching you, but you can't really prove it. It does happen in daytime as well, but it's more prevalent in a darker environment, when you're less able to kind of sense everything correctly. It's a great way to kind of describe that feeling. Honestly, great little story. Fantastic. Thanks so much, Mo. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I sure as shit did, and we'll see you for the next one.